What's going on? I don't think they heard any of that. I'm going to be honest. I think the whole intro.
I heard it. I heard it. That's
did
all.
You hear it?
I did hear the Converse kid.
No, I meant the whole intro I did.
Oh, no, I didn't hear anything else.
I messed all that up. Anyway, welcome everybody. Please stay safe. This show is not live.
Somebody's been hitting the eggnog too early.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I forgot we weren't in studio, so that all that in the beginning did not get heard. So hey, everyone have a great holiday. Merry Christmas Eve for everyone here. We will be bringing back the TT Awards this year, but we're doing a double shot, and we're going to be covering the independent TT Awards, which will be going over all of the independent stuff that we've been a part of or seen this year. We are actively trying to change that going into next year by going to more shows that we're not a part of or working, and just going back as fans and supporting independent wrestling and watching it and giving more people this light. So everything you're hearing today will be mostly of the stuff that we have physically seen, supported, and been around for the year of 2024. We have 14 categories to go through today. There is no clear winner. It's just we're going to give 3 picks or 2 picks and maybe some honorable mentions for each category. And then the overall obviously will be something we determine. It's a little different than the other ones. There's no right or wrong answer here. Each person's going to have their own flair, their own things. Professional wrestling is like Baskin Robbins. Everyone has their favorite flavor, and just because it's not your favorite flavor does not mean it's not good. So unless it's mint chocolate chip, then you're fucking weird.
That's Whoa, shots fired.
Our categories will go as follows. Number 1 will be non-wrestler of the year. Number 2, underrated of the year. Story of the year. Most improved. Disappointment. Moment of the year. Promotion of the year. Commentary of the year. Show of the year. Match of the year. Tag team of the year, overall men's or women of the year, fashion just added for Lilly. Actually, we have 15 categories. I just remembered Lilly did make a claim for another one. So we will add this in as well. So we will have 15. We can just improvise the last one. Fashion of the year, men and women, and entrance of the year, who has the best entrance music or had a special one-off entrance, and ring announcer of the year. So we're gonna start off with non-wrestler and end with ring announcer. We're gonna give love to commentator, ring announcer, non-wrestler. Someone can win all 3 if they're really good. And we're gonna do it that way. Now, we do know, and listen, we're allies. Like it's above my head. I'm wearing my pride vest made by Lilly. We understand that people don't always identify as men and women, but most people are competing in this sport, unfortunately, under a men's division, women's division. So we're going to go by those terms. But if we say something if you go by they, them, or that, we're going to try our best to be respectful, but it's not being done in a disrespectful term or terminology.
You can also be Maxi Impaler and be eligible for both.
Yes, 100%. So if we do botch that, please don't. Let us know so we can fix it, but nothing is done intentionally. But here we go. BP, we're going to start with you, and we're going to go you, Lilly, then me for each category. And we'll have you kick off this year's TT Awards by going with the non-wrestler of the year. Now, before this goes, we did record this at Pilguru, had some technical difficulty issues. We will be recording the TT Awards live from Pilguru this Sunday, and then possibly the Sunday. We'll figure it out. We're going to record one there, maybe 2, and then we also have to record our main.
If we haven't broken down into a giant fight, because as we're going to be there this Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be playing the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, and the Commanders are maybe not win, but we're going to see in the playoffs, and that's when it counts.
Yeah, the bye is still in play. Still in play.
All right. Indie non-wrestler of the year, BP. Who is your number 1 pick? And we'll go number 1, number 2, number 3 if we have it, and go from there.
So I promise these are not sunglasses, but it's got to be Travis Norbert. That's right.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Now it's a bit of a cop-out pick. You can see a little closer. I actually got these from Travis Norbert. They are not sunglasses.
Yeah.
So He is a wrestler, so that is the tricky part of this, and he has wrestled a few times in PPW in 2024. But I am this is for his non-wrestling work on Spark as a manager, as a personality. So entertaining. He spent most of the year on the sidelines, unable to do stuff in the ring with a broken jaw, and still found a way to make himself a central part of the show every single time.
It's not just that too. I mean, he's so wildly entertaining, but he's bringing talent. He's bringing in names. He's bringing in people he believes from where he's from, because he's not from the Pennsylvania area.
No, he's a Baltimore guy.
And he's bringing great talent from Baltimore up to Pennsylvania, which is giving fresh new faces to PPW that fans are falling in love with. He's really an unsung hero, and I completely agree with that #1 pick. I think it's a great pick. But yeah, manager, ring announcer, State Athletic Commission, talent scout, production when it comes to the Spark show. The guy's a solid,
not just Spark
solid
sometimes. Travis has saved our bacon on more than one occasion.
Very, very good guy. Very, very talented. Hopefully, we'll be on the podcast early 2025. I promise you that. That's right. That's right. Lily, your #1 pick.
My #1 pick. Yeah, I feel like turn me up a little bit. Turn me up. My #1 pick is Gavin.
Gavin the Impaler. No. Could you imagine if he did
Gavin
a Max?
the Great.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, Gavin the Great. Any rundown for people who don't know?
First of all, I mean, technically, I guess it was last year, but you put out these clips, and it's my favorite thing he's ever done. So for y'all who don't know who Gavin is, he's a fan who comes to the shows, and he does this amazing cosplay every time he comes to the shows. Every time he comes to the shows, he is dressed up as someone, usually a wrestler. But one of my favorite things I've ever seen him in took place last year. But like I said, Tony has the clips out still of him as Marty Jannetty.
Shawn.
No, I'm sorry. Shawn Michaels, and he freaking super kicks you through, or like not actually through the window, but you have like the way that you have it edited. It's one of my favorite things ever. But Gavin and his dad make this beautiful artwork as well. And like, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is a Gavin original right there. And it's staying in the background of the podcast.
Yeah, Gavin is a sweetheart. He's not even a fan at this point. He's part of the wrestling fan.
Oh, he's a better performer than most of the boys.
Yeah, great.
I'm including myself in that.
Yeah, he's amazing. That's like it's everyone's little brother in wrestling. Like we all look out for him. We love that kid. We love his dad. Like we haven't really met the whole family yet, but I'm sure we'll love them as well. But just great people. And Gavin's a great #1 pick. Yeah,
Gavin and his dad will never do. They are everything you want in a wrestling fan. They are so supportive. They are so loyal. They bring energy every time. It's funny. I was cutting together the latest episode of PPW High Voltage, and one of the matches we're airing is Nice and Smooth against the Commission from November. And at the end, Travis is just having a meltdown in the aisle because he has to be Santa Claus on the next show. And the camera just cuts to Gavin in the front row going, and that's what we end the shot on. Like, this is great. Because Gavin was Seth Rollins that night. He was Gavin.
Oh my gosh.
Flippin'. We'll say flippin' because freaking is even a little too strong for a young guy like that.
And I gotta learn to stop cursing around him. I'm terrible. His dad thinks
feel him
it's funny.
So much money for
that jar. If I ever get big,
Gavin's swear jar is gonna put Gavin through college if he sticks around wrestling long enough.
Yeah, I owe him a lot. A lot of IOUs have been in that jar. My #1, BP. You're gonna hate this, and I'm sorry. I know you hate it as he goes and grabs his beer immediately, but I'm going to put
water.
You over, man.
This is water. Thank you very much.
That's pure vodka.
Jeez.
BP is my #1 pick this year.
That is the mint chocolate chip of picks.
Yeah. For non-wrestler of the year. Listen, I know I have a clip out. I don't even know if I still have it or if I accidentally deleted it. And I didn't post it, not because I'm not proud of it, because you hate getting put over, and I know that. But it's the holiday season, and I don't give a damn. But BP, I love you to death, man. Like, through everything I went through these couple years, and this is not even the reason for the pick, but it for me it is as well. You always been by my side. You've always supported me. You always kept me on track. When I'm fucking up, you're not afraid to tell me I'm fucking up. When I'm doing something good, you're not afraid to help me. But you don't just do that for me, man. You do it for people you care about. You do it for the wrestling business. And the fact that we came in as podcasters and we have been, I don't even say giving, because we come in and we work and we're willing to put ourselves under the companies and go in there and do what we have to do. And you embody that better than anybody. And even from places I don't even work, you're still a part of because of your attitude and the way you come in. And you became the booker. Like, you went from coming in with me as fans, recording content, to helping me film backstage, then to running backstage, not even on camera, then going on camera, running backstage. And I'm giving you thousands of dollars worth of my equipment and 100% trust you more than anybody, helping me produce shows at Camp Leapfrog and all that other great stuff. And then you turn around and you're now booking PPW, which was your wrestling dream forever. And not only are you doing it this year, but you're excelling in it, and you're doing a great job at doing it. And I'm very, 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 very proud of you. And for that reason alone, you're my number one pick. You're an unsung hero right now, and more people will know and recognize you going into 2025 and on. I'm very, very proud of you, and you're killing it.
Well, it's a horrible pick, but I thank you for what you're saying.
You're number 2, BP.
Gavin. Gotta be Gavin.
I like that.
Gavin is a superstar. Gavin is it's funny with that Shawn Michaels thing. I remember making a joke one time where he is such a he retains all of this stuff. And it's just thinking back to, like, just remember when he first started coming to PPW back in 2021. Look at the Little Iron Sheik, and now, like, the Little Iron Sheik is like twice the size, and is now little Seth Rollins and little Stone Cold and little CM Punk. And just every time you have him do those little things, he hits the home run. I have more trust in an elementary school child to perform than I do in myself and some wrestlers.
And he has no fear. Like,
not at all.
He nose to nose with Jay Lethal, cutting the Flair promo on FaceTime with Tessa Blanchard holding the phone to Tully. Like, yeah, he's just I love him. I love him so much. Lily, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Mary Elizabeth.
Great pick. Is it her birthday or Tommy's?
Tommy's birthday.
It's still Mary's. It's Mary's birthday.
As we record this, it's Tommy's birthday, and tomorrow is somebody else we're going to talk about's birthday.
Yeah. So great pick. Well, let's glaze over Mary. You know.
Also, Trace Parker's birthday today. Happy birthday to Trace Parker.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Trace.
And his hair.
Yeah. You want to put Mary over a little bit?
Oh, Mary Elizabeth. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
the queen of professional wrestling.
I don't even know what's happening. Listen, first and foremost, Mary, don't come at me. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I picked Gavin for number 1. But you were so close as a number 2. I mean, you know that.
That's a heated rivalry right there. You're taking sides.
But no, you're honestly the work ethic for one. She's a manager, but she puts so much into what she does. Outside of the ring, and not just outside of the ring, like during a show, but like behind the scenes of the shows too, as well as like who she is as a person. I just really enjoy. But then like as her character, like can be so complete. I don't want to say completely different, but like, you know, I love the
you spice it up.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like the array of different personalities that she can just completely embody, and just she is that badass chick that everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
And the chemistry with her and Tommy is just off the charts.
And I don't want to get too much into it. I think she talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I believe she did, but she also struggles with some health stuff, with really bad migraines and stuff, and she can't shake it. And she'll come to she misses shows sometimes because of it, and it's something that it's just always there, I believe, for her. And she comes to shows, and you wouldn't think she's just like chronic, someone who suffers also from chronic pain. It's not an easy life to live, and for what she and the energy she gives for a show while she's there, she's unbelievable. And it's a great pick.
She screamed at my kid for like 20 minutes straight. It was great. Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm gonna go with your number 1, BP. I'm gonna go Travis with my number 2. Travis Norbert as my number 2 pick. That's right. You're number 3, BP.
Benny the basketball. I love that thing. I love Benny the basketball.
That thing.
Benny the basketball is pretty awesome.
It is a thing. It's an object. It's a basketball. It's an anthropomorphic basketball. And my dream one day is to be Benny the basketball. Like, I'm too busy. I can never do it. But that is one of my favorite things. Like, who's going to be the basketball tonight? Who's going to be the and I want to get a big star in there. I want like
Matt
like
Riddle.
if we ever as Benny the basketball. Or anybody, like if we bring in like a Prince Nana is going to be Benny the basketball.
Oh my gosh, that
and
was
so
funny.
Did we
Make
know
Benny the basketball swerve?
I mean,
drive.
Realistically, we know who, like, probably 100% know who was in there. But was the Benny the basketball who you were hoping Benny the basketball was going to be last show?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who did it last show.
I don't remember the general. Although I will say one time Benny the basketball was Stunt Cat.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna put in. I want to be Benny the basketball one time.
Okay.
This isn't coming out until Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Christmas Eve, yes.
Okay. So look I actually got my kid. She'll be opening it the night before this comes out. But for her Christmas jammies, she got a Stunt Cat shirt.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think she's gonna love it.
Yeah.
And then the other one got a. I know I'm just taking a whole freaking detour here, but the other one got a Kenny Omega My Hero Academia shirt. For
they don't want Rembrandt merch anymore. That ship.
You know, unfortunately, I feel like Elena might. Might. Lady's so upset.
I feel partially responsible for this.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
They don't know that, so you're still in their good graces for now.
Yeah. All right. Your number.
Dio's a good guy now, so it's we flipped it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Dio's a good guy now.
All's right in the world. Lily, your number 3.
My number 3 is Samira.
Good.
Awesome.
I think Samira is pretty.
Overall, great pick. Also, couldn't be in the running for another one a little later on. I actually maybe switched mine a little bit because we did add ring.
Yeah.
You want to throw?
Told me about that 5 seconds.
I threw a curveball at it, so we have something different to talk about. Do you want to add? Do you want to change it?
I don't have anyone else in my brain right now.
I'll go next.
Yeah, you go next.
My next one for non-wrestler of the year, I'm gonna go with Joel Ruda. And I know it's a cop-out because he's a sponsor of the show and he does much, but the guy is just a megastar. He's helped so many people. This year I had a really bad beef with Tantalizing Tony. Me and him were on site probably going to swing on each other. It was that level of we were upset with each other. And Ruda's like, you guys are too good to be hating each other. Talk to each other, work this out. You're both my friends. I don't want this bullshit no more. He had a vision of what he wanted to Ruda Entertainment to be, and he wanted both of us to be part of that vision. He shows up to shows with title belts. He brings belts to shows when shows no longer have belts.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
He's a fantastic manager. He's a fantastic referee.
He got the referee again this year. That was great.
He's a utility player. Anything you need him to do, he will jump in there and do it. And Ruda is going to be my number 3 pick this year.
And he may have been Benny the basketball. We don't know that.
Who knows?
Okay.
Any of these people could have been Benny the basketball. You don't know. You never know who's going to be in that thing.
One show at PPW, I might be Benny the basketball. You'll never know.
I will know.
You'll know. Lily.
I would know. I feel like I would definitely know.
Lily's with Samira.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 3 is Aurora Lee.
Okay, there we go.
And let me tell you why. First of all, I met her this year, yes, as like a manager. But I got to do commentary with her for the first time and found out like she's actually doing training for a little bit of everything. So she is training to be a manager, she is training to wrestle, she is training to do commentary, she is training to do interviews and all sorts of that stuff. But like also she slapped Ox Adams in the face this year. And that takes guts. That's all I'm saying. That takes guts. She's definitely.
Oh, she doesn't back down from anybody.
No, at all. I love that about her.
Yeah, she's very up and coming. Very keep an eye on her. She's gonna be doing some cool stuff.
Very fierce spirit in a very small package, and I love that.
Yeah.
Also, could be Benny the basketball.
Maybe Benny the basketball.
Could be Benny the basketball.
It could be Betty the basketball. We don't know.
Betty.
We don't know. We don't assume basketball genders here.
No, could be anything. We don't know which way that stem goes. underrated for the year. We're gonna start with you, Lily.
My underrated for the year. We're starting at my number 1, right?
Yes.
Trevor Terry.
Trevor Terry, underrated. I like it.
I think Trevor Terry is TV ready, honestly. Like, I think he is so, I think he's just so great in any match. I haven't seen a Trevor Terry match that I've been disappointed in. I think that he always brings the energy, even with people who might not necessarily know him. But I also know that he does travel like all over the place. He's everywhere. But I mean,
he traveled to the Nightmare Factory to get better training and learn from some of the greats in the business. He's not afraid to put the miles on his car to make himself better.
And another person that is dealing with a health issue that can make performing difficult, and you would never know. Like, you would never ever know.
Yeah.
My number 1, I did a little change-a-roo on this one, so I'm going to surprise you guys.
I changed mine for
I'm going to move my guy up a little bit in the list because we talked about him, and I had him. I feel too low, and I'm gonna swoop him up to number 1. And I think one of the most underrated guys in the area and just on the scene is VSK. Like, the guy has had opportunities on TV and he has been seen on a major platform, but I still don't think it's enough for what this guy brings to the table. Like, he's just so incredibly talented. He's a good looking guy too. Like everything about him, he's absolutely perfect. He should be more than what we know. Comes from a great school, and not only does he's once again selfless, but he's also bringing talent from his school to other places and helps people get over. Not a bad VSK match you're gonna see.
First time I ever met Leo Sparrow. He came with VSK to PPW.
Yeah, he's just an overall great dude, and I'm very honored that he's been around PPW as long as he has been. He's one of those guys that, like, you're like, oh, we're only gonna have him once, maybe twice, and 2 years now, 3 years now, he's just
remember when we were cutting our teeth, I was like VSK's designated gimmick table guy for like 4 months in a row.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
We spent a lot of time with the gimmick table.
Him and go back and rewatch him versus Brian Kendrick at PPW. It's a match. It should be on the YouTube channel. Go watch it. It's unbelievable.
Might have some big things in the future for VSK as well.
Yeah. BP.
He's gonna be Benny the basketball.
Maybe Benny the basketball.
He could be Benny the basketball. Yes. So my number 1 is, and when you say TV ready, somebody who, like VSK, I think he can do just about anything. He can talk. He can work. He can maybe not. I haven't seen him really do a lot of flying, but he can definitely hang with those guys who are super athletic and do a lot of those things. Jordan Oliver is a guy he can definitely hang with and has. When you say this guy's a top guy, I don't think it's just a nickname. It's like, he can do comedy. We chanted "He's got crabs" at him for an entire night, and he rolled with it. Griffin McCoy.
Three nights. It's carried over from multiple shows. And on commentary, said one of the most profane things at PPW while on commentary.
So some of the stuff he uncorks when he's working heel is unbelievable. And the top guy is my top guy as far as most underrated. Griffin McCoy is a guy that is ready to take that next step. He is every bit as good as these guys are getting snapped up with WWE ID. He can carry a big indie like a GCW. He could be a guy that could step in there and really elevate himself. I know he's been doing great things with JCW, with Fightertainment. I always try to find a place for him in PPW whenever I can. It'll probably be out by then, but if not, I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to blow up a spot. He will be back in PPW January 18th. I can't wait to have him back. I always look forward to seeing Griffin McCoy on the card.
Yeah. Number 2, Lily.
My number 2 is Samuel Thompson. I think Samuel Thompson is an amazing performer. I think that he needs more eyes on him, as well as his sidekick, his partner in crime, Val Verman. But for this list and this list's purposes, my pick is Samuel Thompson.
Love that. Fantastic talent. Love them to death. Him and Valerie. So they were on my underrated, and I actually scratched them off because I think you'll hear later why. But I'm gonna go with my number 2 pick, and it's cold out, and when it's cold out, the best thing you need is something warm. You need a little fire in your life, and when it comes to fire, It's not just the gimmick. It's what this kid has inside him that keeps him motivated, keeps him moving. And that's the fire starter himself, Junie Underwood. This year alone, just really putting himself out there, driving the shows by himself, going where he needs to go. Part of a really established stable with the Lost Boys, but he's not afraid to break away from that or even work against. Like, some guys are like, hey, we're going to show up and we won't split. We have to be with each other. They're like, no, we'll fight each other because we know we'll have the best match of the night. Like, that's just how that stable rolls. Like, they're not dead set on we have to always be together. If Junie has to fight them, he'll fight them. If they have to team or mixed match their team, they're selfless. They'll do whatever it takes. And that's the biggest thing with Junie, is selfless. He will do whatever it takes to get that. And he's driven. He'll get anywhere he needs to be. And more eyes need to be on the fire starter, Junie Underwood.
And I think they will be. I think that's another one where it's a matter of time.
Yeah. All right. Number 3.
I haven't done my number 2 yet.
Oh, sorry. Number 2.
Yeah.
Talking about a matter. You want to talk about a matter of time? This is somebody I had pegged for most improved, but he's a rookie. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to improve. You're a rookie. He had, I believe, his first match his first actual match, as Killian McMurphy would say, my first real match in front of people in 2024. Love Killian. And if you saw this guy and you're like, yeah, this guy's a rookie. This guy he started doing it this year. You'd be like, no way. No. The way he carries himself, the way he looks, the way he wrestles. My number 2 is the reigning PPW No Limits champion, Sugar Dan Stavko.
Kid's a stud.
Star.
You want to talk about driven too? Go back and listen to the interview I just cut with him on the podcast. Dude was concussing himself on a mattress in his backyard, training himself because he didn't know where to go to train. And then found a school that he could have went to the dungeon but didn't know it existed and drove to Maryland to get trained from Reading, Pennsylvania. Kid is, there's nothing stopping him. He's going to be unbelievable. He's a great support system around him too.
And that's the guy. Whenever I see him, like, oh, I'm going to tell people I knew him when he was.
We were friends one time. I promise.
Yeah.
Lily, you're number 3.
I have changed my number 3.
It's Benny the basketball.
So my number 3 was, for all the aforementioned reasons that Tony just said, it was Junie Underwood. But I have changed mine to the dude.
Ooh.
The dude is so underrated. For real though. Like,
I hate you, Lily. I hate you, but it's such a
but I'm right.
You are.
But I mean, I've seen him work every style, every type of match that you could, like, he just has amazing matches, and he makes chemistry. Like, he has amazing chemistry with anyone he steps foot in that ring with. And he can tell a story even if he just met them in that ring.
Also, one of the most fun people to commentate for. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
One of the most fun people to commentate for as well.
Man.
How many times have we done the slow motion gimmick?
Love it.
But he's so good, and he's so, when I say he's so good, I mean, like, I've seen things happen where, like, I don't want to say too much, but I mean, like, he just picks up on everything really quickly, and there's things that are happening right in front of him, and he just has it go, like, it's so seamless, it's so effortless. Like, he just picks up on technicalities, and on top of that, I don't think I've ever seen him work anything that looked unsafe. And
the only one that's gonna get hurt wrestling a dude is himself, because he'll headbutt a corner.
Yeah.
He's a little tall sometimes.
Yeah. Kind of what she's alluding to, and I have no problem saying this. I had a very brief stint as a booker, and it's not that I had it taken away. I kind of stepped away from it for personal reasons. But the dude is someone on the card that, if you're a booker, he's a dream to have on your roster, because you can put him against a rookie, and that rookie's going to have the best match of his career because it's simple. It makes sense. It's going to be seamless. The dude is going to carry that kid through any spot, motion, make it funny, make it entertaining, work the crowd. The crowd's going to love it. And that's a dude match. And he could do it with someone who's early in their career or extreme veteran. Like, he's someone you can plug and play for a kid that's only been doing it 2-3 years. Like, he hasn't been around super long. Like, I mean, 3 years is a long time, but it's not. But like, he's such a crafty person that you can fill in any spot in the show and it's going to work.
Yep.
And he's so plug and play that you're going to do a dude match, but the dude character also works very well with everyone else. He's not overshining his opponent. It's gonna like, I put him in a situation in a match where I changed something on the fly as a booker. I was on commentary. I called for a turn. The dude was not in on it. I mean, if he was hurt. He heard it for a second. Somebody was going to be joining the Bad Fellas. It was done on the fly. The Bad Fellas came out, their music hit. The dude had no idea what was happening because the guy who was joining the Bad Fellas didn't know until I snuck to the ring and said, "You're joining the Bad Fellas. Have fun with this," and walked back. They didn't have time to prep it.
Yeah,
they didn't have time to go over it. And the dude heard the Bad Fellas music, looked at them at the curtain, goes, "My friends are here. Cool." And knew to keep his back turned so the guy behind him could do whatever he wanted and make the spot work. And everyone in that building thought it was something that was predetermined, like it was 100% improv, and the dude sold it beautifully. And there was nobody else in the ring I would have been comfortable doing that with except the dude. He's that good. Great pick, Lily. Great fucking pick.
Thank you.
Love. I hate that you took it, but I love it so much. Yeah. My number 3 is another guy who's selfless and tough as fuck. Hurt himself pretty bad this year and maybe didn't have a title in a company that's well established, maybe didn't have moments in companies that are well established, but in an upcoming promotion for the past couple of years in Pilguru that have been putting together 2, maybe 3 shows a year and then mixed with some fightertainment things, Jason Furious has been a bright spot in those stories.
So good.
And his character work is flawless. He's doing stuff with the Wild LLC, and I love the kid to death. And he's always someone who is willing to put his body in the line, even though when it's uncomfortable for everyone else around him, but he's going to do it to make everyone have a good moment, and it scares the fuck out of me. But he's so talented, and he's so good, and his character work is good, and he always is the one getting the most attention every time he's around. And his concluded this year with him losing to Journey, and it was just selfless, and he's such a good dude, and more people should be booking Jason Furious.
100% co-sign on that. My third, we already kind of covered all the reasons why. VSK is the 5-tool player. VSK is the guy you can put in any situation, and he is going to knock it out of the park for you.
Yeah. Storyline of the year. I'll start with this one. It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Storyline of the year is going to be that's right, Travis Norbert and Big Daddy. Their storyline and their rivalry this year in PPW has been so wildly entertaining. Once again, the guy was hurt, couldn't even do half of it, still kept the story relevant. The guy, broke his face and still cut promos in recovery.
In his hospital bed, fresh out of surgery, jaw wired shut, and he's cutting promos.
And Big Daddy is a guy who owns the venue, owns the building, just a lifelong wrestling fan, and getting himself in storylines, but not just to make it like a self-service thing. He's doing it because he was asked to do it, and just a good dude. And it was just a really good storyline between 2 people that you wouldn't even expect to be in a storyline, and it worked so well.
Yeah, just by happenstance. Yeah, it's we want to get Chris involved. Norbert's a heat magnet. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it. It also doesn't hurt that Chris definitely passes the airport test. You walk by like, who's that guy? Is he a wrestler?
What is this guy? Yeah. All right, BP, you're number 1.
I'm gonna go to GCW. I really have liked the whole Effie chase, the ascension of Effie versus Mance. It's been a really, really well done story.
Love Effie. I still have yet to work with him. It will happen hopefully one day. Lily.
It will happen this year. We are in 2025. We're manifesting it. My number 1 pick for the year is the storyline to involve the Wild LLC and their new additions. Journey Burke, Esquire, first and foremost. Loved the entire all of how they brought her into it. And getting to watch the Wild LLC, High Tension, all of that involvement going on there. And then the big flip around of, whoa, the Wild LLC is bringing in a new commentary guy. Who is that? Oh, it's ABJ.
Baby. Yeah.
Crazy storyline, but I mean, it even evolved from there. Like, this dude had to literally be like Wild LLC took over and literally was like, hey, we're bringing our friends in, we're kicking out management, this is us now, and see you later. And it was just a wild storyline from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and I love where it took us, and I want to see where it continues to go.
Well, you're in luck because we're just getting that one started, and there's a lot of stuff going there. It's a lot going on. There's real life stories that are entwined with this. Of sometimes the best wrestling stories are from reality, so there's a lot of reality based in this. There's a lot of great talent involved in this. I'm really excited, and it's a storyline that I think you will appreciate more, and it's awesome how much you love it and still don't know the history of Camp Leapfrog, which we are slowly doing. We're going back and rewatching Camp Leapfrog because this Dr. Ethan Wild story of the Wild LLC and where they are now all stems back to Camp Leapfrog, and boy, you're in for a treat when we go back.
You mean that Chinese crest looking dude?
How dare you? All right, that's my boss. She said he looks like a Chinese crest with his bleach blonde hair.
If you don't know what a Chinese crest is, it's dog pool.
Poor Dr. Wild.
Yeah. That's my number 2 pick as well. I love High Tension. I fly that banner even when I was on the outs with High Tension. I always rooted for them, not just High Tension, but in the network as a whole. And to be back in High Tension Wrestling under Wild LLC, it's not something it's not the circumstances I thought I'd be in, but if it allows me to fly that flag, it sucks that I had to do it on the cost of my best friends no longer a part of it. But I'm in the company. It's somewhere I feel like I rightfully belong, somewhere I deserve to be, somewhere I should have been since the beginning. And unfortunately, my friend didn't bring me in. Wild LLC did, and I'm very thankful that they did. And I cannot wait to continue this story. And that's my number 2.
I only had the one. I was a little short on this one. I just haven't really followed a lot of, but yeah, everybody's picks are really good, but I just had the one for this one.
I have a third one.
I also had a 2. But
go ahead.
Cool. My 2 was Mike Skyros and Philly Mike.
Yeah.
That was interesting to watch.
Skyros held the title forever, fought everybody for it, and the best of 3 series between him and Philly Mike, which crowned Philly Mike the new High Tension Network champion, and he's been holding it down ever since.
I was going to say, but not even just that. Then watching Philly Mike fighting Dr. Ethan Wild, not once, but twice.
Yeah.
That also is pretty dope to watch. Do you have it? Wait, that was your number 2?
My number 2 is Wild. Yeah, the Wild LLC. My number 3 is going to be, we kind of alluded towards the underrated, but it's the story between Journey and Jason Furious through
that's a good one.
Through the Bruise Giving storyline and the Brewfest storylines. They've got behind Journey at Brewfest, like fans who aren't even wrestling fans who were coming to wrestling shows essentially for Journey Burke. They were coming to see Journey Burke win the title,
as they should.
They wanted to come drink beers and watch Journey Burke kick ass. And
that is the real fun thing of specifically Brewfest Bruise Giving, is that you do get to see non-wrestling fans kind of get hooked by wrestling a little bit.
It's so good. It's so good. I love watching a fan of wrestling or a old fan who got away, who buys back in at an late age, or just someone who just buys in the day of the show. And alcohol always helps. And Journey Burke has been a catalyst for Schuylkill County when it comes to getting wrestling fans back into it. And downtown Pottsville loves Journey Burke.
Also no relation.
Again, as they should.
Yeah.
My number 3 was Dio Bando and Nolan Pierce. The story that they put on this year, I think, was amazing. Banger after banger after banger. And they're still doing it. They're still putting out bangers.
But now they're
allies there.
I know it's a little crazier at the end of it, but it was the build up to it, the fight itself, and then now I'm sorry, I feel like I'm yelling all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so good. It's so good. And getting to see also now the fact that I've got my kids watching it, and seeing how much my kids love these people that I love so much, I feel like it's just all together one big happy.
All right. Most improved, and we're back to you, BP, kicking this one off.
Real quick, I am going to step away for the next two categories because I feel like I am not aptly fit to answer these questions, as I'm still pretty new, and I don't think that I have learned enough about the indie scene in the past year to say where people have improved when like I didn't even know what I was watching a year ago.
That's fair.
So
makes you very credible.
I'm gonna go grab another soda, and I'll let you guys.
You can get a little twisty tea while you're down there.
I would if your brother didn't drink them all.
No, there's another one down there.
There's literally one left.
We'll have it.
I might.
All right.
I might.
All right, BP. We'll start with you. Most improved this year.
So these are some guys that I only met this year, and just the improvement I've seen in their character work and their fluidity, their ring work.
Most improved does not mean you sucked and got better, by the way.
No, it does not. No. But I have really become a fan, especially as the year has kind of drawn to a close, just the last 2-3 months, of Los Toxicos. Again, coming from that create a pro lineage, just some people we brought in to get a look at, and now it's like I can't imagine the show without them. And I've seen them spread their wings personality-wise. Sebi brings an energy. Sutsio is just that reserved.
I laid eyes on Sebi and I fell in love. I was like, this guy, I'm interviewing him today.
They are people who have not even gotten they're a team I wish I would have had a chance to get more stuff to over the years, as far as doing stuff with PPW, and I'm really looking forward to what we can do with Los Toxicos in 2025, because if they make the jump in 2025 to 26 that they did in 24, that's gonna be something to see.
There are gonna be problems for people in the tag team divisions at any company they go to. My number one is gonna be the law of attraction herself, Journey Burke.
Cleaning up
already. Journey Burke Esquire. Sorry, thank you, Lily, for the correction. She has found herself just once again driven, passionate, wants everything to do for doing the small things as well as improving herself as she goes. But really, really, it clicked for her this year, where she learned how to really hone in crowd work and do the crowd with her in-ring ability, and it just seems effortless for her now, where before she was like you could tell she was new and trying to find herself and where she belonged and how to do things, and now it's just natural for her. And even if it's not still, she's proving me she got me, but changed her look, changed her attitude, works baby face well, works heel even better.
Good.
Just a versatile player, almost Dudisk, where you can put her in a ring with anyone and it's gonna work. Like you're like, all right, throw Journey in, break glass emergency. Do we have a women's match? No. All right, let's put Journey in with this person and we're gonna have fun with it. And we actually did that with Journey and the dude. Put them together and they had a blast with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just a key player in the roster. Everyone should be booking her. Most improved this year by a landslide, and it's Journey Burke.
She is my number 2 pick here, and yeah, I can tell you the moment. I'm like, whoa, the light's coming on here. And unfortunately, I messed up the promo because we did it, and it was during the day, and it was in a space with too much light, and we both look like ghosts. But I did a promo with Journey back in May for a Sunday afternoon show at PPW, where she's about to face Danny Moe, and I forget who the other person was, like a number 1 contender match. And she was so on point with what just the character was fully inhabited. And I'm like, wow, she has it. The light has come on. And then to see her do the same thing as a baby face, just to be able to do either or, and the strides made in the ring. And again, just that work ethic is unquestioned. Like literally, and this is a very behind the scenes thing. The PPW show we had on December 14th, we had a 3-way match where 2 of the women in the 3-way were unable to come, one due to illness, one due to travel issues. And somebody's like, I think Journey came with Junie Underwood. And we're like, no, she's not here. We got her on the phone and she's like, I can be here by 7. We decided to just put Nat Castle in the Battle Royal. We decided to try to make the show a little shorter. But she was ready to drop everything and drive to PPW on 3 hours notice to have a match. That is the work ethic.
That is
the work ethic we're talking about.
Love her.
I feel like I just walked in. That's who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's unbelievable.
She's so good.
Number 2 is going to come out of that Catch Point Wrestling in Philadelphia. And it's going to be a guy who, once again, I don't think I've ever seen him as a babyface. I don't know if I want to.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
But Tom LaRosa, just from Mania Week and early days Sanctuary to now, the kid put on muscle mass. He's getting his body right. His in-ring work. Another one. He put in matches where I was like, oh, this is not going to be a stylistically good match for Tom. He's wrestling an older vet that I don't know if he can even move. And Tom's like, I don't need you to move. Just be in the ring, and I got this. You know what I mean? And he's a young kid out there. He cut a promo, and the mic wasn't working, and he just took over. And the crowd hated him, and he was just, I don't need a stupid mic, and then slammed the mic into Lily's chest and almost caved it in. It was amazing. Loved it.
Called me a stupid. No, he said
women.
He said women, and I was like, oh man, I'm already nervous that the mic's not working. I'm already feeling the freaking pressure.
Which he ate it up.
But I mean, it was so good. Yeah. It was so good.
Tom LaRosa is most improved and possibly
I definitely thought I was gonna cry.
And could either be underrated next year or even top of the list next year. The sky's the limit for that kid.
Let's stick with the Tom theme. My number 2 here, because Journey was the 3rd for me, is somebody I got a lot of history with, and that's Smooth Tom Mitchell. And it was seeing him in his run with the No Limits title, had a great match with Christian Robinson, just seeing the things he's doing, spreading his wings, 3 Legacies Wrestling, Ring of Honor. That was such a moment for me that Mitch and Trace, again, happy birthday to Trace, were able to go on Ring of Honor, because it's just like, it wasn't that long ago that Mitch was doing the interviews. I was hitting the record button, and he has really taken his career to another level this year. He and I don't want to give anything away, but like, there's a story for Tom Mitchell and PPW that maybe gets to be finished one day. And he gives me Cody Rhodes vibes. He really does. He really gives me Cody Rhodes vibes. He's not there yet. He's only a few years into his career, but like, if you want to go to central casting for a baby face, it's Tom Mitchell.
Yeah. My number 3, and to close out this category, is all the way from Tijuana, New Jersey. And it's going to be a kid that, I'm going to be honest, I've seen him the first couple of times. I was like, he's going to have fun. He's going to have fun. I don't know what we're going to get out of him, what he can do yet. But his confidence start growing, and the boys start getting behind him. And then I watched the kid go through some pretty hardships when it comes to losing family members and losing people that were close to him, and a lot of mental struggles. And the kids went through all of them like a soldier and still put on great matches, and has really won the hearts of not just the locker room, but the boys and the fans and everybody. And my number 3 is Stunt Cat. Stunt Cat has come a long way from a referee to everything he's been doing. And the 2024 was a great year for Stunt Cat. And it's definitely,
but yeah, he got to be Benny the basketball.
Yeah. Huge improvement. And the kid's doing great. I'm very proud of him. Love me some Stunt Cat.
Heck yeah.
All right. Disappointments of this year.
I have 2 here.
We're not going to harp on this. We're not here to be negative, but it is a category that we're going to touch on the other segments, which we can be a little more critical because it's TV wrestling, and this, we're not going to be super critical when it comes to this. And I think we're on the same page when it comes to one of them together. So we'll get through this really quick. But what's your first one?
Injuries. Specifically, it seems like it's been a rough year, like for people like we know. It starts with Norbert breaking his jaw. And you have Jordan Oliver blowing out his ACL. Jason Furious blew out his knee and still wound up.
Didn't Deppen break his arm this year?
That was last year.
Was it last year?
Last year was. Although, thank you for bringing it up. AXW, one of the earlier AXW shows this year. Deppen's wrestling Sean Legacy, who's now in WWID, and they have to stop the match just as it's starting to ramp up. And that would have been. They were about 7-8 minutes into a 20-minute classic, and Sean Legacy.
Cat meowing. We just don't. It's Stunt Cat somewhere around here.
Yeah, honestly, say his name and he appears. We can hear him meowing.
There's a meow somewhere. We don't know where it's coming from.
It's not that Stunt Cat Jr., is it?
It might be.
So, yeah, Sean Legacy broke his finger, and they had to stop the match. They had to bring it home right in there. So there was that. Yeah, but because the year before is when Deppen broke his arm. The year before that is when he broke his head. So I remember I was nervous. I'm like, whenever I watch Deppen live, he gets hurt, and then he doesn't, and then his opponent gets hurt, and then Joey Martinez tears his Achilles, and it's just been to the point where I was so that was tough. And his birthday was just like I think yesterday.
Yeah,
and I can't wait for him to be back. He's a guy who could have been in that most underrated. Same as his partner.
A part of me, I'm gonna heal it up a little bit here, but I'm gonna say I'm being a heel so people don't take it serious. I'm glad he's gone. You know what I mean? Because I remember the first time I took Lily to a wrestling show and she laid eyes on him and she was like, "Who is that?" And then he hurt himself. And I go, you know what? Now it's time to hit the gym. So by the time he comes back, I still won't look as good as him. I don't know why. No. The guy's a goddamn. I'm not even into men. I'm an ally. Listen, it's right there. I'm an ally. I'm not into dudes. But Joey Martinez is my type. You know what I'm saying? If I was into him, Jesus Christ, that guy's a stud.
He won me over one of his first times back with PPW, and PPW first came back after the pandemic, and instead of his weight being announced, it's his credit score. That's so good.
That's funny.
He's someone, just a quick shout out to him. He's someone, I think I told you this a long time ago. I don't even know if you remember, but he's someone that I had imposter syndrome for a very, I didn't really shake it until Mania this year.
I still have it
7 years in. I just feel like no one gives a fuck about what I do as a content creator, and no one cares about our opinions. And what I'm doing is wasting everyone's time, and I'm a giant stupid idiot. And that's just how I feel. It's just when my brain works. And I remember Martinez is like, "Yeah, I'm kind of offended," and I don't think I had him on the podcast, but he was like, "When am I going to be on your show, man?" Like he always supported it and liked what I did, and he was very vocal about liking what I did, and it meant a lot to me because it was somebody that I respected very highly, and he would like tell me things about the show that he liked, and it meant a lot. Great guy. Yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah. My number 2 and my only other one after this is just attendance and fans a little bit. Not so much fans of like the diehards. I'm not talking about you, the diehard fans who we see every show. We know you guys are there. It's more or less when wrestling's hot right now, but it's only hot for WWE.
Yeah, WWE is hot right now.
Yeah, WWE is hot right now, and some people are getting a little too tribalistic, and it's trickling down to the indie scene. We get it. AEW is your rival. You're a WWE fan. Da 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 da. We get it. We understand. But just because there's not a name in the building doesn't mean you don't have to show up. Still come and support the independent scene, because the same guys you're clamoring for, you're excited for WWEID, are people you could be watching right now. So come to shows, pack these places out, and just support independent wrestling.
Any given Saturday in New Jersey, you could have seen Marcus Mathers for the last 3 years.
Yeah, for no money. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. It's insane, and you've been missing out. That's the only. What else you have for disappointment? That's all I have.
State Athletic Commission still being a thing, other than Travis Norbert, who's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And part of the thing that makes it great is he's sending up this idiotic thing of, yes, like it's one of those things where I don't know how much the safety of a wrestler is really what it's about. It's about getting that 5% gross receipts tax. That's what it's all about in Pennsylvania. I don't know what it is in other states.
No one's running a show thinking, how can we make this super unsafe? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and if you are a promotion doing that, then you shouldn't be being a promotion.
And
as a talent, you should be like, this is not where I need to be.
Right. And it's no disrespect to Dr. Frank Romoskavich, who's the Hall of Famer, who should have probably been on my list of best non-wrestlers, the legendary Dr. Frank, but like it's not like there's this rash of injuries in Jersey where they do a lot of deathmatch stuff, and there's really not much regulation at all. But people, if you're booking guys who know what they're doing and can do it safely, first of all, injuries can still happen, as we just talked about. But we don't need this kind of oversight for what equates to, obviously it's not the same as like theater because, there's not that many injuries in a play, but it's something where I think the checks and balances are already in place for reputable companies.
Could you imagine
and it's just a cash grab.
Blows ACL out, and you're like, what do we do now?
You know what I mean? Oh yeah,
like if the lead of a
play just takes the wrong step, or he says Macbeth on stage, and then all of a sudden the ACL is gone.
Yeah. All right. Moments of the year on the independent scene. Who's up first?
I think me.
You're up. Go ahead.
Number one moment of the year, Rem cashing in
How
Money
dare
in the Bank PPW Engage November 2024. First of all, amazing. The whole way that it happened, every part of it, every moment of it. It's BP plug here, please. It's live on
YouTube.
Can see it at
PPW
YouTube,
Entertainment on YouTube. Yes,
go.
PPW Entertainment.
We were just watching it at
the bar.
Pilgaroo last night. I actually sent a clip of us watching it to Rem, and he was like, "Oh, you guys!" He's like a little.
He was really stoked that we were watching.
Yeah, it was such a great match. But then on top of it, it was a really great moment for me because like my kids were there and.
About to stab Rembrandt with a hat pin, yeah.
Yeah, yo. You can't, just so you know, if you're unaware of this, you can't impersonate Santa. If you impersonate Santa, you're on the naughty list for life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they were like, they knew that Rem is like a friend of Moms's, but like
unacceptable behavior.
Unacceptable behavior.
It hooked them.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so good though. So that was my number one moment.
All right. Am I up next?
Yep.
Well, my number one's been already taken, so I'll go to my number two. JS run as I don't know if he won it this year or if he had it for a full year.
He won it last year. He's been champion first.
JS's run this year as the Three Legacies champion has been unbelievable. And I'll even add this to the list because it wasn't even on my card until the other day. But since we had a break in recording and we're recording it now, the promo leading up to Zoe versus JS Hawthorne is a work of art. And the fact that like this is what I'm talking about, where people go that extra mile to promote a match and to take that extra step. JS Hawthorne, I don't know where barbershop he went to or who he got to film. I think I know who filmed it because it's in the thing. I just don't know their name, but a brilliant job of who filmed it. But does a whole Sweeney Todd bit with him and Zoe Cannon, and they're singing and he's doing his thing, and he's the drama daddy for a reason. And I could even add into this too is I'll even say moments wise it's huge for JS Hawthorne for me as well, and I'll add it through the Three Legacies thing, even though it has nothing to do with Three Legacies. This guy had almost a best of three in one calendar year with Effie, like at Smash Master Wrestling. Like someone I respect truly in this business is Effie, and I love him dearly. And for one of my best friends in this industry to get a moment to not just be on the same card as Effie, but to wrestle Effie twice.
And that's coming off of last year beating Ace Austin.
Yeah. The guy had a great year, and their two big moments for me is Effie versus Hawthorne, and Hawthorne's run at Three Legacies Wrestling this year has been remarkable.
My number one, I'm going to toot my own horn. It's the Santa Cash, and that's the one time I will take pride in something I did. Is I loved every second.
So wait, so for the record, that would have been had you not just been a jerk and been like, "I'll give my number."
No, he said that was.
That would have been a unanimous number one.
No, you said it was your number one. Here's my number two. So
yeah.
It was.
That's fair.
But he just said he's rephrasing that it's also his number one. So it is a clean sweep across the board.
It is unanimous. That is the number one.
Should have put Rem as I couldn't get a clear enough photo for the thumbnail, but I wanted to put Rem as Santa Claus on.
He has the Frank Boris with the Santa hat.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
that's fine.
Your number two.
My number two.
Well, BP's number two.
No, it would be Lily's number two at this point.
Okay.
My number two was the frog splash moment from Super Frog at Suplex Mania at Suplex Vintage Wrestling during the Rumble that took out everybody in the ring, the commentary table, part of the crowd. It was powerful. It was a very powerful moment.
And it was just a little tiny hammer. It wasn't even his full one. I think he got it from like an action figure. That was crazy.
I don't think the city will allow the big
full
hammer.
size.
Yeah. Could have sunk the whole city.
You're number 2.
BP's number 2.
Mine are all going to be kind of personal, and then 2 and 3 are related. And this is when I got the call. And again, you were talking about like just seeing Hawthorne with Effie, and that's somebody that like means a lot to you in this business. Getting the call, Precious winning the Sanctuary title was something where it almost got a little. Somebody was almost chopping onions up at the commentary station when that happened. That was a special moment.
Yeah, I unfortunately was not there live, but I definitely watched. I am very, very proud of that kid. I've known him for a very, very long time. Love him to death. That's going to be just kind of tying in. That's my number 3 as well. And I'll just kind of get my last one out of the way and send it back to Lilly. But it's going to be Precious winning the titles twice this year, and Tommy Vex winning the Heritage title at AXW. That's I'm gonna lump those together. Just my friends doing cool accomplishments in 2024. That I'm
good things happening to good people. That's the theme.
Yeah. And Tommy running a great show this year. Rumble
for a good cause too.
But it meant a lot to me. It was a good moment because it was the first time we got to take her kids to their first ever wrestling show. And Tommy put together a great show. It was really fun. Lilly, your number 3.
My number 3 was the New Era Pro Wrestling, the Heist ladder match. And there's not any one specific moment, but that was my second show doing ring announcing. A lot of stuff was going wrong, but that was like every part of that match just went so beautifully that like it just had its own moment in and of itself. You know how like you just have like when you're experiencing something and you're like, dang, I'm really gonna remember this. I had that feeling. You know what I mean?
There's moments on commentary where I wasn't even talking because I was watching. I completely I was very
encapsulated.
Very just Trevor Terry, Samuel Thompson,
yeah.
Mookie Summers, Squid Sterling,
Boss Young Legend,
Fletcher Young, and there was somebody else in there, was there? I'm really sorry that if you're not.
I don't know who you just said. Hold on. Did you say
Fletcher, Squid, Boss
2,
Young Legend,
3,
Mookie Summers,
4,
Trevor, and Samuel?
5, 6.
Got
That's
everybody.
it.
Yeah. Great job. Samuel was definitely booking and agenting that match. Did a great job.
Oh my gosh, every part of it, everything. And the crowd was so hot. It was so loud in there.
One of my favorite, probably my favorite ladder match on the independent scene. It was done really well. Yeah. Maybe you'll hear more about that in a little bit. You BP have a third, or is that it?
I do, and it's a recent one, and this is definitely more of a personal because I know this guy's had a lot bigger moments this year, and we've been talking about him a lot here, but because of the history and because of the role you and I have kind of played in erasing that history and reshaping it, just seeing Hawthorne in PPW was like, it's like war is over. Like and it's been over for a long time, but just that tension, that kind of like bullshit. Don't
if
go
the
there
war's not over, it's not being portrayed on the talent, if that makes sense.
Right. No, the war,
and that's it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if there's like, hey, listen, I don't plan on.
There's gonna be people who. Yeah, there's going to be people
your building and you're not showing up to mine, but I'm not going to hold your roster against each other like that. Those days are done.
There is no hostility. There is like, are people going to be on each other's Christmas card list? No, but it's just seeing and presenting it in a way where it meant something was
Precious coming out and being the ring announcer, being the Ricardo Rodriguez for Ricardo Rodriguez's champion, and they're both saying,
well, he is Hawthorne's squire. He is Hawthorne's squire.
What I'm saying is there's the parallels of,
but it's one of those things where like
three legacies,
But it was definitely one of those things like, this is really happening, isn't it? And just like when that was coming together, I was giddy. When I'm like, this is going to happen. This is really going to happen. I was giddy.
Proud of you. That was a good one. It's a good moment for the year.
And he's coming back. He's going to be there January 18th. So
love that. Promotion of the year. Who's up first?
You.
Mine first. Yeah. I'm gonna rearrange my car a little bit. I did have, and it's listen. There's no number one. There's no clear winner here. All three of these people that I'm saying I'm gonna be really in love with, but PPW was my number one, and they are at the end of the day because they are the premier Pennsylvania wrestling. They're the most longevity, have the most longevity when it comes to wrestling in the area. They have been doing it longer than everybody else. They have been consistent. They've moved locations. They've changed ownership. They've done so much, and they're still around. They're hard to beat. They are the gold standard of Northeast professional wrestling, and there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. If you're in the Northeast, you want to be on the PPW show. That being said, my number one promotion this year, just because they're starting off, but there's more to it than just wrestling every month, and that's going to be Pilguru, the Brewfest shows, the Fightertainment shows, bringing a new eyes to wrestling and making new wrestling fans using music, using craft beer, using community, using everything that they know that they love, and kind of blending it all together, and also being, hey, we're also pro wrestling fans. And I'm really, really proud of the Pilguru boys and Deppin and the Budwashes and everyone who works there. Even the employees who never got into wrestling are now becoming wrestling fans.
That is really cool.
It like that whole aspect of like, I don't feel weird going into Pilguru and being an unapologetic wrestling fan. I go in with my wrestling merch and my wrestling t-shirts and my hats and my championship belts, and I don't feel like a dumb mark because everyone in there is dumb marks with me.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Pilguru is my number one this year.
I'm gonna give. I tried to kind of abstain from places I've worked for here. That's not really fair. But my number one, I gotta give my flowers to Three Legacies Wrestling. They've been really, really, really putting on a masterclass on how to get sponsorships, tell stories, draw an audience, and Ricardo's got a good thing going down there. And
very proud of all of them. And I'm excited to actually see my first show.
Yeah, I am very excited for that.
Yeah, Three Legacies is my number two as well. But go ahead, Lily. You're number one.
My number one is Labor of Love. Out in the Philadelphia area. I've been to a few of their shows and I enjoyed every single one of them. My number two is PPW, and my number three, since I feel like you guys have pretty much did all of yours, is High Tension.
Yeah. My number three is going to be Labor of Love. PPW is, like I said, they're number one, but I'm giving other people the roses here. So my number three is going to be Labor of Love as well. I only got to see two of their shows. I want to go see more. Euphoria and Wrestle John were so much fun, and I want to go do more. Another honorable mention, I haven't gone to a show at all this year, but just seeing how people react to them and love them, LVAC shows. So they are killing it.
My number three.
Killing it. Yeah.
My number three.
Sorry, I buried the lead.
That's okay. Sold out next Friday too. They pack the house. They really do it. They got a special thing going there.
Yeah, super cool. LVAC. We're very fortunate with great wrestling in Pennsylvania again.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have New Era Pro Wrestling doing things. You have Smash Master Wrestling. Like there's so much we're not even saying.
Yeah, AXW we have really talked about a lot.
AXW, a great pick. If you're in Northeast Pennsylvania, we got some wrestling for you. There's a lot going on. Go support it. Go love it. Yeah. Commentary of the year.
Oh, my third, by the way, just really quick.
Sorry.
House of Glory. House of Glory doing some fun things up in New York.
Yeah, those main event boys doing big things.
Oh, yeah.
Commentator of the year, BP Burke. I think you're starting this one off.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And I didn't really appreciate how good he was until I called a basketball game with him, and I was like, I don't even know a lot of basketball, and I was like, I'm just gonna follow the lead. I'm in there with Bob Costa, so I got this. Paul Bow is gonna be my number one.
The goat. Once again, there's a number one that we're just not saying, and it's for me, it's always Paul. Paul's my number one all the time. My introduction to commentating in pro wrestling was Paul, Bo, and Pete DeLong, and I couldn't have picked two better people to learn from and be mentored by and learn from and just learn the ropes from. They're two of the goats. They're the best in the area. and they're there for a reason. You know what I mean? And Paul Bo is just fantastic, and he could do basketball, he could do wrestling, he could do everything.
Football, he does it all.
Football, he's super talented. Lily.
My number 1 is Toddy Tondera.
You bitch, take another number 1 off me. Number 1 as well for me is Toddy.
I thought you just said your number 1.
No, I said Paul is in my heart always number 1, but for my list this year, it's
well,
Toddy.
that's on you for not saying
number 2 for me.
Yeah, Toddy is someone I've always wanted to work with, and I really, really got excited after you worked with them and said, wow, really, 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 really good. Got to work with them at my first deathmatch show, and I don't know how from a wrestling standpoint how well we did, but dude, I had fun talking and chatting and being funny and just having a good time. Got a lot of good feedback from Alex saying that they loved us working together. I hope I work with Toddy more this year. I guess I'll go to my number 2 because Toddy was my number 1.
Yep.
Jordan at New Era. First time I ever worked with him at the end of the year. For New Era, I've always wanted to work with Jordan. Jordan's another one who was under the learning tree of Pete DeLong. Got to really mix it up and do stuff with them. They are absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't know how much more I'm going to be doing with them unless it's some one-offs here and there. But Jordan's another one. If you're in the Northeast scene and you need a commentator person, hit them up. They're really, really, really fucking good. BP.
My 2 was Toddy, so if Lily wants to give her number 2 here.
My 2 was also Jordan.
Okay. Number 3, BP. Close us out.
Number 3 is somebody I actually worked with, and that's going to be and fairly new to all this. Pete Carter, who I worked with at AXW, a Monster Factor guy, he's getting into managing now.
Yeah.
Somebody who lifelong wrestling fan, but didn't really get involved until he saw the Apple TV documentary on the Monster Factor. Said, "Hey, I want to do that," and at a like us, even beyond us, got a late start. Like not a 20-year-old guy, but is giving it his all, going for it, and doing a great job at it.
Yeah, kind of in the same boat for me. Jeff Jenkins, I got to work with at Rumble Their Youth. That's my number 3. Never did wrestling before. They're like, Tommy was like, "Hey, I love this guy. He's been my guy for a while. I want you to be the one to help break him in a little bit." And what a great play-by-play guy. Really, really good play-by-play. Jordan, really good play-by-play as well. But yeah, Jeff Jenkins making his debut this year at Rumble for the Youth. If you go when that one drops, you guys should definitely listen to it. He's really good, and he's funny too. I was able to mix it up with him. Sometimes when I'm heel and I start being a little mean to my commentary partner, sometimes people shut down. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know if I'm being serious or not, because sometimes I guess I have a tempo as if I am being serious, or I go for the throat sometimes. I don't mean it. It's just the way my character is. But once again, very Jesse. But killed it. Jeff killed it. There's a few times even with Jordan, I was like, "Oh, did I make them uncomfortable?" You know what I mean? Because I say some shit. But really, I'm very blessed. Toddy, Jordan, and Jeff that I worked with this year, all fantastic commentators. Lily.
My number 3 is slightly biased in the way that it's not biased at all. I would have put them on my number 1, but I feel like that would have been like nepotism. I put ABJ at number 3, but realistically, honestly, you would be my number 1 pick, not because you're my partner, not because we do a podcast together, not because I listen to your.
I would have been your number 1, but realistically, all of my footage is not heard until like probably next year.
If I can finish, please. The reason that I would pick you for best commentary is because I have seen you work with a numerous amount of people, and whether it's someone who just started day 1, day 2. People who've never done commentary at all before until 10 minutes before they're doing commentary, and working with people who did commentary years and years and years ago and doing it again. And I've seen you work with so many different kind of people, and no one ever has anything bad to say about you. No one's ever like, "Oh man, I gotta work with this guy. Like, it's gonna be so hard to work with him."
You never wrote a jersey with me.
I mean, all I'm saying is you can fit into, like you're saying, "Oh, this person does color commentary, this person does play-by-play." You fit in, like you figure out what everyone else brings to the table, and you're like, okay, let's just make this chemistry work, and you do everything that goes in between all of that. But then you're also the person who is worried about if the equipment's working, is everything actually recording, and hold on, I got to run and grab batteries for in between stuff, and everything that goes on a production side as well as commentary. And that's why you would have been my number one. But I'm putting you at 3 because I saved it for the last.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It means a lot. I put a lot of work in it.
Get fucked.
Yeah, fuck you. Nah, anyway. Show of the year, number 9.
Honorable mention. I had 2 honorable mentions there. Got to throw a bone to Johnny St. Clair. Does a great job at PPW.
Yeah.
And
I want to work with him so bad. Even if it's just one. Paul, give me one match with Johnny Sinclair. One match. I don't care what match. You can
I do get to work Spark with him. I do get to work on Spark with him, which is always fun. And
chomp at the bit for that one. That's a bucket list.
One more person. I only did it once that I know of, unless he did it other times while he was on the mend. But when we did the show at the Steamtown Mall, Luca Mancini did not miss a beat.
Very good.
Did not miss a beat. Got to give Luca Mancini credit for stepping into that and doing a great job with it.
He worked commentary with you a few times this year, and it was all fire.
Loved it. Also, J.S. Michaels, I worked some New Era shows with. Very, very good on commentary. Did a great job. Had a lot of fun with him. And then when we had shows where it was myself, it was a really fun booth. J.S. Michaels and George Palominas, where he would just come. Oh, it was as a pro wrestling commentary show. Probably not. If you're a purist, we're not your team, but we had a fun time. It was so much fun. J.S. Michaels and George Palominas I did probably a lot of those shows. A lot of the ones I said were like one-offs of people I've wanted to work with for a while, and I got to knock off my list. But J.S. Michaels did a great job filling in when you couldn't make it to New Era shows, and then George filling in was just a natural sort of chemistry with the 3-man booth. Had a good time.
For sure.
You know who else I want to do commentary with? I've never done commentary with? Brad DeMayo.
Yeah.
Was a commentary guy for a long time before he had his weight loss. When he was at his heaviest and he couldn't wrestle, he moved to the commentary booth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Pete even said he's really, really good. I've never worked with Brad. That's another one I'd like to.
That would be fun.
That would be like to lock that off the list. Yeah,
I would like to hear that.
Yeah, that's the thing is I can't compete. Like growing up playing sports, and then my body kind of went through my disorder, and I can't compete the same way. Commentary to me is like where I get to mix it up and really get to like the science, because there's a science to it for me. Like I want to do certain things, and I have an overall goal of how I want each match to flow. And if I feel like there's been times even with UBP, like we do something or something is said, and I'm fist bumping you, like yo, that was sick. Like like it's that give and take, and there's definitely a science to it. If you don't feel that, or you don't go through the range of emotions at the end of a show, you didn't do it right. Like I'm mentally exhausted after commentary because I put myself through a lot of mental headspaces to get through that show and give a different emotion for things. But yeah, really fun year commentary. And I want more BP shows. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I know there's a possible thing with us doing maybe reliving some Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan when it comes to some things coming up for maybe PPW that we can work out that Paul kind of maybe says cool. That would be fun to work together on, but we'll see how it goes. But let's go to show of the year. Who's up first?
I'll go first. My number 1 show for the year I have as Fightertainment. I think it was 8. I'm not 100% sure. It was at like the end of summer. Speedball Mike Bailey's Fightertainment with at Tony Deppin's brewery.
I think it was the one where Young, Dumb, and Broke versus Griffin's team at the time.
Yeah.
So it was I forget, but it was.
I love that you call it Young, Dumb, and Broke because I know who you're talking about. It's Christian Robinson. And it was
supposed to be Jordan Oliver, but it was hurt.
Yeah, it was Jordan. It was Jordan Oliver. It was Jordan Oliver and his team versus Griffin McCoy and his team. Yeah, really good.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was a really fun show. Really fun show.
Plus, getting to watch Journey Burke. Yo, first of all, that scummy, icky Ricky spitting on her because of the Hawk Tua was a thing at that moment. But watching her just like smacking the crap out of him, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's when he was coined Timo Junie.
Timu Junie, yeah. That's when that started.
I don't know who said that in the crowd. That was what a jerk.
I started the Icky Ricky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that one actually made Journey pop. I heard about it like a month later. And she's like, somebody started that. I was like, it was me.
I love starting chant because like I know I know that crowd.
Yeah.
My number one is gonna be Suplex Mania. Jesus, listen, it's gonna be hard to top Mania week in Philly for me.
It was a lot of fun.
I went, full disclosure, and this is not a woe was me, but it's just to show how committed we were to that weekend. Broke, no job, no car, no way to get there. Did not eat for almost 3 days because we didn't have money to eat. Australia
We were
love.
on a hope, dream, and a prayer.
We literally were like, I literally didn't eat or drink almost for 3. The only thing I drank that entire weekend was the free C4 given to me at Suplex Mania.
Yeah.
I'm not
They
joking.
were everywhere. They were everywhere.
There was cases of it behind in the back. It's like, and then there was pizza that I didn't find until after the show was over at Suplex. That's the only thing I ate in 3 days. I ate on Sunday.
They were giving that C4 out at Mania.
Yeah, there was 2 shows sponsored by C4, Suplex Mania and WWE. It was crazy. But Suplex Mania was unbelievable. There had to have been 2,000 people there. Major rapper, Machine Gun, not Machine Gun, West Side Gun was there. Just the card was unbelievable. Doing commentary there with J.A. and Scott Holiday was a great time. I had such a good time. There was people who came out to support me that I didn't expect. It was just really, really, really special. And that was my number one of the year. No questions asked.
I had a lot of fun. This will get maybe my number 3, just because of the reason I enjoyed it. It was kind of fun. I wound up going to that GSW and Smash show at the Ukrainian club the day before that, or 2 days before that, and the wrestling was fun. It was more like seeing people like, oh, Trajan's there and Ace is there and G.
I still have not seen a Trajan match since he's back.
And it's so funny. I'm talking to Trajan. I'm like, is AJ here? AJ Evers? There's like, literally AJ is standing right next to me, but he's got short hair and he's wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. I didn't even recognize him. He's like literally standing right next to him.
I miss him.
But the big thing in that Ukrainian club was $3 PBRs. And I partook in $3 PBRs that night.
Attaboy. Lily, number 2.
Well, now I'm upset because I thought you switched around, and I was gonna. You're a jerk because that was my number 1, and then you were like, okay, so my actual number 1 now. My actual number 1 was Rumble for the Youth, for from it was the AXW X Cross Tommy Orvek or Tommy Vex show. Sorry.
Oh,
Tommy Vex show. Yeah. Got that. Anyway, amazing show, a great show, like honestly from beginning to end. A lot of bangers, like it was the Lost Boys, Dan Champion, Smash and Burn. There was just people everywhere. Sam Adams, Matt Quay, Shay McCoy, Val Verman. Like it was just it was such a great card. But that was also my kid's very first wrestling show. And, you know, they're somewhat like me a little bit, you know, they enjoy being loud and boisterous. And once you get them into something that they like, they won't shut up about it. And the entire way home, we relived the entire match that we had just watched. And it
the whole show.
The whole show. But like, it was just a cool experience from beginning to end.
I'm kind of moving backward here. I started with my number 3. My number 2 is, and I'm not doing this to put one of my own shows on there, and the show was good, but it was more
be unapologetic. What you enjoyed this year, say it.
PPW Super Show 4 in April, which was our WrestleMania, basically. Our April show was our WrestleMania, and the show was good. Like that roster is very talented. They always give it their all, but the way that we packed that place out, and part of it was, you know, That was the first time Chris got between the ropes. Unfortunately, it was the night Travis broke his jaw, which was the definite. That was the only. It's the reverse of the silver lining in the dark cloud. That was the only downer on a night that was really cool, because that was the biggest crowd we had in years, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
There was no name. There was no star. There was no. We're bringing somebody in, that's not part of the team.
Usually Super Show is like a convention back in the day.
Yeah, but this was our point of saying, no, this is a new PPW, and we make our stars now. Our stars are the guys that are here every month, and the women that are here every month. And that was the night that Sammy Chaos gets coronated as the PPW Women's Champion and puts Danny Moe through a door, and wins that PPW Women's title. It's the night that we unfortunately had to have Adrian Soriano relinquish that heavyweight title, but Facade steps in and Facade shines and puts the company on his back when we need him the most. And it was just it meant a lot to me, because it's like I felt that was like, because that was like my second or third show as like really having a strong voice and creative that kind of really was solidified at that point. Like, okay, I'm the one kind of steering this thing now. And that was the result. And I was really proud of it.
Yeah. My number 2 is going to be Labor of Love, and I'm going to put together Euphoria and I'm going to put together Wrestle John, and it's not just so much the wrestling aspect and the environment of Mania weekend, and everything about that was amazing, but just from a content standpoint, it really means a lot to me, because I got a lot of good interviews. Like, I'm still going through, I just finished all of my Labor of Love clips, and I got, like, once again, that Labor of Love show from a mental standpoint it meant a lot to me. Like, I felt like I was accepted. I felt like I was loved. I came in with another content creator team. And unfortunately, and maybe I'm shooting from the hip a little bit, but that's my New Year's resolution from 2025, is just say how I feel. And if it hurts people's feelings, I'm not trying to, but I am also speaking what I feel is my truth. But like, I felt like I had a team around me. I felt like I had people who believed in me. I felt like these, and I was thankful for it. Like, these guys drove me there when I didn't have a car, and they were offering me things like food that I tried not to take. And like, I felt like I had a team behind me, and I was really, really in a good spot mentally. And I thought I was doing good things. And I got interviews. Like, I hit the Ultramantis interview. I got Paul London. I got like Max. Like, it sounds weird, but like, I love Handsome Max Zero. But like, I also felt like a lot of people in the Camp Leapfrog and the High Tension crew didn't really care I was there. Once again, my imposter syndrome, where I felt like I wasn't accepted, I wasn't loved, I wasn't needed, I wasn't a member, I wasn't one of the team. And all of that went out the window for me at Mania weekend that week at Labor of Love. People were literally showing me love and showing me support, and were asking me to, like, go get your camera, let's record something. And it just, I felt like I was part of it. And it really, really, really meant a lot to me. And a huge thank you to Labor of Love of letting me come in and do it, and Alex for bringing me along. That one will always, just because I didn't get to go to WrestleMania that night or that weekend, but I didn't need to, because with Labor of Love and Suplex, that's all I needed that weekend. And it meant a lot to me.
And I did go to WrestleMania both nights, and night 2 was a lot of fun. But night 1 was very cold. They even talked about it on the show, and it was good, but it was like, I had more fun at my number 1 show, which I literally left Mania, got on the Broad Street line so I get out of the Uber hot zone, and took an Uber from I don't even remember which stop I got off of, but took an Uber down to the Sheet Metal Workers Union Hall, and around 2 in the until around 4 in the morning, watched the GCW clusterfuck and the Punjabi prison match before that, where one of the Shearer brothers' face exploded. And I had more fun at that than I had at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Lily.
My number 3 was also Euphoria / Wrestle John. However,
we didn't even say what made it special for you there.
I was about to.
Oh.
Mine technically wouldn't be either of the shows. It would be like 4 hours after the last show, while Tony was doing his interview with Ultramantis Black. I met Chuck Taylor at the bar, ordering some drinks. And then he went and sat down at his table. And when I turned around, realized that at his table was Orange Cassidy. And I ran out to the car and I grabbed my outfit because, you know, girl is all about her fashion. So I had to run out and get into my cosplay to meet Orange Cassidy. But I did. I met Orange Cassidy for the first time.
You got to get to one of these Zelvac shows. You got to get to one of these Zelvac shows.
I have to. Do you know what the most frustrating thing is this year I met Orange Cassidy twice. This is technically not part of the indie, right? Tornado tag. However, both times I've met this man, I have been dressed as this man, and both times I have gotten pictures with him, and both times he is not dressed in his own gimmick. So I met him.
Right. He was wearing Bryce's referee shirt the
first time I met him, he was wearing like all black denim, but it was before he was doing like the dark Orange Cassidy bit thing.
He was also just hanging out with his friends.
Out, right? Yeah, he was just out like in regular clothes. And then the second time, he was wearing his Orange Cassidy like white T-shirt, but yeah, he took Bryce Rumsberg's ref shirt and had it like halfway on. So both times I have pictures with him. I'm dressed like him, but he's not dressed like him. So
we know some Melvac people. We know some Melvac people.
Year I get the picture where we actually are dressed the same, and you can't tell who's who.
Yeah. We can try to make that happen. We know some people that know some people.
That's on the list.
Yeah, BP number 3.
I already did mine. It's free PBR or the $3 PBRs.
My last one is WHW. Really good show. Maybe at the end, not a cool moment for me kicking Alex in the face. But
look at you, you're becoming a deathmatch guy.
Yeah, I went to my first deathmatch. Working with Toddy was awesome. Being a part of that show meant a lot to me. I got to. It's kind of a twofer. That one and the Solar Slam. Right? Was that the second one? High Tension and
Pro Wrestling Explosion.
Wrestle Pit. Second one was Solar
Wrestle
Slam.
Pit, and then
Solar Slam was cool too, even though I got chopped by Kingsglaive. But overall, those two shows were good. I have an honorable mention. And once again, I might get heat for this, but once again, it's my truth. I don't care. It should have been Heist. It's the first show I ever booked that I was actually physically there to book. And I put a lot of creative drive into that. And what I'm about to say has nothing to do with anyone in ownership because I love them to death. And there's no beef. There's no heat. There's no ill will towards them whatsoever. But it was extremely disappointing. Then hearing back after, like I was on a high. And Lily's can attest for this. I was on a really big high. I was like, man, I feel like I booked something really special. The show ended exactly at 10 o'clock. Everything was beautiful. It worked so well. The fans were eating it up. I was like, I was just on an emotional, like, man, like it was something I can't describe. Like when you put the trust in your roster and you put people in matchups that you think are going to be really good and everything's just a home run. And then the end of the night, you hear that 50% of the roster didn't think you deserved it and didn't think you should have been there and you haven't paid your dues enough. And it hurt because it was from people that like to this day will probably not watch this episode, but heart react the post of me posting it, but not listen to it, saying that like I didn't deserve it and that I'm not good enough and I didn't deserve. And honestly, it's a huge reason why I'm not going to do it anymore because I'm not going to put my creative mind into something that's not appreciated. And that sucks for me, but it's still, regardless of all of that, it's still a show I'm very proud of that I think people should go watch. Yeah, but once again, 2025, ABJ speaking his truth, and I'm also 2 chetties deep in some marijuana. So
I also have an honorable mention. Mine would be the Phantom 6 All In Together.
Great show.
Amazing show.
2 fucking 38 matches.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, also I got to do commentary for that show.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, great job, commentary with you. Great job. I love Phantom 6. I can't wait to see more of that.
Yeah, there were so many people at that. I mean, there were so many good wrestling matches at the show, but in the show, but also each different section of the show, because there was like 3 different parts to the show. Each one had its own ring announcer. Each one had its own well, I don't want to say its own commentary, but commentary kind of switched throughout the day, but everything had its own little bit of flair to it.
I wasn't doing 20 some matches in one day. You're out your mind. All right, well, let's switch to shows to matches. I'll start this one off. I will go back to Heist, and I'm going to do The ladder match from New Era Pro Wrestling's Heist, the ladder match. Very, very proud of that for every reason that Lily said. Everyone in that match killed it, put together a great performance. Very, very proud of all of them. BP?
I have from PPW, I think it was called Thunder Road was our show in May. GKM and Diego Hill, just like that was where it's like, okay, these two guys are for real. Like not that Diego and GKM hadn't impressed before. I think that was if that wasn't GKM's first show with us, I seen him in AXW, but it was very close to his first show, and it's like, oh, these two are good, and they're good.
GKM's really good.
GKM is somebody to really look out for in 2025 for sure.
Yeah.
So is Diego for that matter.
Yeah. Lily?
My number one match for the year was Matt Mao versus Matt Mikowski at Euphoria. I don't remember, man, but it was so good. It was my first time seeing either one of them live or in person. Or
first time seeing Matt?
No, I said live.
A long time because he was injured.
My first time seeing them ever.
That's so good.
Good. But I was also doing at that point in time, I was doing like roving cam stuff for Tony for ABJ for the vlog for like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like for the journal, like his vlog entries, whatever.
Yeah.
But so they took it out of the ring and I followed it, but I mean like followed them the whole time. But it was just one of the most intense things. It was so fast paced, but it was so
technical.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So good. That was my number one.
Number two for me is going to be also at a Labor of Love show, except it's going to be the main event of night one. And it's going to be Cheeseburger versus Weber for the Labor of Love championship. Man, talk about a match that's hard to root for the other person, but the crowd was so pure Cheeseburger that I felt like Weber wasn't getting enough. So I was pro Weber, but I didn't hate either one of them. And I thought it was just a beautiful matchup. It was a matchup that people should go back and really watch. It was beautifully done. I love both those people so much. They mean a lot to me in this business and they're great.
Even just hearing them just hearing the chants in that tent, because it was like in a giant tent outside, but like Weber, it brought you to tears because it was literally just like so symbiotic. Like it was just the exact amount on both sides of it. It was just so much.
And if you're gonna get two Philly people or people who rep Philly, like Weber and Cheeseburger, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, BP.
My number two is the aforementioned Clusterfuck Battle Royal. Didn't end until about 4 a.m, but what a ride! What a ride from Shane Douglas to Micro Man and everything in between. That was a very interesting MLJ getting in there and then eliminating himself and all the different fun things they had in that match. It's that lunacy that you expect from that match.
Yeah,
it really delivered.
Number three for me.
I'll do my number two.
I thought you had your number two. I'm sorry.
My number two
it's running
also
late. It's
has
11:40.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
Yeah, also has Weber in it. It was Sonny Defarge and Mr. Crumbles versus the outfielders Shane McCoy and Weber Hatfield at Boiling Point. Okay, go ahead. You can go to your number one.
My number three will be.
Sorry,
I changed it up a little bit. It's gonna be. I just had a brain fart. Did I just lose it?
Yep.
Oh, my number three is gonna be a no ring show match. It's gonna be Journey Burke versus Riley Crow at Wrestle Pit on Fire. One of the coolest no ring shows I've ever seen, and both of them killed it.
My number three is going to be a match I had a chance to call an AXW, which it was just like watching just two guys who are just top level guys, just having a match that would have fit in any promotion at any time. Could have done it in the 70s, could do it now. Tony Deppen and Richard Holiday had a match there. Forget the show, but they had a match that I loved.
Yeah. All right, let's head over to
my number three.
So sorry. I'm really sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. Sheesh Louise. I literally it's fine.
And what was it?
I don't know. I had it and then
2 seconds.
Oh, okay. It was Kingsclave versus Wild LLC.
How dare you?
I said it. Yep. And then now we can go ahead. Just go on to the next one, and then I'll explain.
Tag teams.
Oh, you want to know?
Who's your number one tag team?
You want to know who's my number one? It's the Syndicate. Haha, tricked ya.
They're trios.
Tricked ya. I know. It's the Brothers Gray, but
Brothers Gray is also my number one. Fresh off coming from Japan. Proud of these guys. They went to Japan and Australia in the same year. There's no doubt in my mind why they're number one. They're traveling. They're getting themselves out there. They're not a tag. They're not just wrestlers or a tag team who's traveling in a 25-mile bubble. They have a great story of just young kids who went through some crazy shit and found their way through life at TNA wrestling shows and have evolved into these beautiful, beautiful men who are taking over the world, and I'm proud of them.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna go old school. If you go way back with this, the love I had from the very first time I saw them and now look at the amazing things they're doing. The House of Glory Cornerstones, the main event.
Yeah, they're my number 3. I changed it up. Don't at me.
We all just
My number 2 is going to be a team that we talked about in your most improved, and they're going to be in my tag team for number 2. It's going to be Los Toxicos. Got to watch them at AXW. I've got to watch them at PPW. Great team. Love these guys to death. Please seek them out. If you're an Eddie Guerrero fan, Sabi is your guy. You're gonna fall in love. They're both very, very talented, very good guys.
My number 2 is Survival of the Thickest, Christina Marie and Sammy Chaos.
Is it Christina Marie in that team? I don't think it is. I don't think it's.
Check
Christina
me. Go ahead. Check me.
Go ahead, BP. Your
Go
number
ahead.
3.
Make me look like an asshole
My
on a podcast live.
My number 2, not live. My number 2 is a team that longtime IWTV tag team champions. Great. They would be great as singles, but as a unit, they are phenomenal. Miracle Generation.
Yeah, it's Caitlin Marie. Now, Christina Marie is someone completely different. Caitlin Marie is Survival.
So sorry. So
okay.
Sorry.
I just want to give people the right credit.
My bad. No, you right.
Christine
and
Caitlin are very close. You had the right last name.
My bad.
Christina
My bad.
Marie is a legend at PPW.
Yeah,
one of the best women's champions of all time. Yeah. Christina Marie versus Sammy Chaos would be a PPW women's matchup dream.
Yeah.
But it's Christy. Caitlin Marie is Survival of the Thickest in that team.
So sorry. Sorry. I stand corrected.
Yes.
And did you say your number 2? I'm sorry.
My number 3 was Main Event.
No, your number 2.
2 was Los Toxicos.
Oh yeah. Okay. And my number 3 is Los Nuevos Campeones de Ranas, Kingsclave, Handsome Max Zero, and Travis Huckabee. And how do you feel about that? Tell me how you feel about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Do you still have dust in your eyes
dust
from the ceiling?
The dust. All right, let's get into
real quick. My number 3, a team that I really got a chance to appreciate, like watching what they're doing in AXW, and when we were doing the Saturday Night's Main Event podcast like 7 hours ago, when we were talking about the Mountie and Repo Man, with the Mountie and Repo Man just fully inhabiting their characters. Security Inc. is so good with that.
So good. I love those guys.
Security Inc. has really stepped into their own.
I should have put them for most improved because they have evolved into this heel team that I never thought they could be. And
now they have Ava Everett with them, and she adds another dimension to it.
Really?
She's been a great addition to that group. And Security Inc. is my number 3.
All right. Well, the overall Woman of the Year.
Should we do it?
Let's just say it together. 3, 2, 1.
Sammy Chaos.
Yeah, Sammy Chaos is the runaway for Woman of the Year, and not because we don't want to get beat up by her, unless
that's 100% why I'm afraid.
I mean, if she wanted to, if she didn't want to, it's fine.
Yeah, Sammy Chaos is the GOAT of this year. And maybe even next year. But like I said, I'll just kind of throw my number 2 out there. It's Journey Burke.
As is mine.
And
my number 3. My number 3.
And my number 3 is Valerie Verman.
As is mine.
So my number 2 is Danny Moe, who was really stepped in that role as the franchise player, kind of taking that Christina Marie torch of this is the boss of the women's division. And Sammy took that torch from her for a little bit. But what made it so easy to have Sammy go from debuting in January to going neck and neck with our top baby face, and the crowd buys it in April, is Danny. Danny was a huge part of that, and maybe that duo becomes a trilogy sometime this year.
Yeah.
I maybe we'll put that out into existence. I mean, they had a 3-way, but it was a last second thing. There was an injury part, and so it wasn't really. But they got to go 1-on-1 again at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy versus Danny versus Christina Marie would be like the craziest triple threat match in PPW women's history. All right, overall men's division 1, 2, 3. JS Hawthorne. Yeah. Yeah, there's. Are you disputing this, Lily? Who's your number one?
I love you so much, Hawthorne. I love you so much. You're not on my list for the top 3 at all.
Well, it's been real, Lily. Good year for you.
Hawthorne knows why.
Why?
Hawthorne knows why, and that's all.
Okay.
I will be saying about that. My number 1 is Matt Quay.
My number 3.
The triple M's, muscles, mullets, and America.
America.
JS Hawthorne, real quick. Let's go back. JS Hawthorne.
Love you so much. Hawthorne.
Utility player. Guy can do it all. He showed he's the 3 Legacies champion, and became a champion within a couple shows, and showed up as a ring crew guy. Was not booked, was not invited, asked if he can come and help and just be a hand. Showed what he can do whether it's ring announcing, production, helping talent, helping with promos, doing promos, helping with anything he can, and became the keystone of that company. And it's just his heart, his work ethic, and what he brings to the table. And JS Hawthorne is all of that and more in a professional wrestler, and he should be on TV. He should be in everyone's heart and mind,
and then some.
And that's why he's the center stone of our thumbnail, because he's that damn good. Matt Quay is amazing as well. No shade to Matt Quay. That kid is a body of a Greek god. He's unbelievable. Stud.
An American god.
And just a great family, great kid, great person. Everything about him is absolutely amazing. Love Matt Quay to death.
Are you still going? Or
go number 2. Yeah, go to your number 2.
My number 2 is Trevor Terry.
He is my number 3. I'll let you put him over.
And well, I feel like I've already said about Trevor Terry.
We said a lot about
I love Trevor Terry so much. I think that he's good heart and soul, but also from a technical standpoint, from a charismatic standpoint, and he's just fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to be around.
Love him.
Number 2 BP for you.
Facade, the franchise of PPW, and again, Soriano gets hurt, he steps right in, and it would be hard to have really navigated some of those waters. Some of the there's always going to be ups and downs when you're involved in putting together a wrestling show, and having that constant is always something that makes it a little bit easier. That you can plug him in with anybody, and he is going to tear the house down. Beloved by the crowd, and can't say enough the good things.
My number 2, since my number 3 is already gone, is going to be, and the reason why I took him off my most improved is because I'm going to put them in my overall, and that is Samwell Thompson. Like I said, my short stint as a booker, he's someone who I'm like, all right, who do I want to possibly steal the show tonight? And whoever I put him against is going to kill it. And I got to put, even though I didn't get to watch the match live, I got to put Samwell Thompson versus Rembrandt, and then Samwell Thompson in the ladder match, and then I'm like, oh, I get Samwell and Trevor Terry in the ladder match. Like, you'll used to just kill each other the whole time. Like, set that up. Samwell Thompson is the GOAT, doing great stuff with CZW. The kid works so goddamn hard, works his ass off. Him and Valerie, love them both so much.
And my number 3 is Dio Bando Baby.
Great pick too.
Yeah, I think he's really great to watch all around. I think that he's fun to watch from a heel standpoint, from a face standpoint. I think that he has a little bit of both aspects to him. He has that peace love, but also like I'll peace punch you. And I think that he has a great energy too, and a great sense of charisma that he can really get the all of the crowd going at the same. Like, he just has that. He's got that magnetism.
I'm so excited for 25 because he can come off as cocky, and he can really project that. But if you spend 5 minutes with that guy, you know he's a baby face.
Yeah.
And now we finally got him where he should be. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for Dio Bando. I can't wait.
Baby.
So we're gonna do fashion, but we're gonna put men and women together. So if that changes your list a bit, please do that because we are running late on time. So we are gonna go to fashion. I will start it off because I am the fashion expert.
Are we just doing winner? How about instead of 3, 2, 1, just winner of men and winner of women? Can I do that?
Well, we can still put we can just go through our list quick. But just if my number one overall for fashion this year is going to be Journey Berg. Changed up, like we said before, she changed up her attitude, changed up her look, changed up her everything. But I think the biggest thing that really helped Journey get over that hump and get to that spot where she really stood out when it comes to just the overall presentation was changing her gear as well. And her gear is fire. Like her gear's always been good, but I think that darker gear, the pinstripes, and just more she has coming has been a huge setting point for her when it comes to I appreciate fashion more now because of Lilly, and Journey is definitely one that stands out for me. She's my number one overall. Lilly.
Journey was also my number one.
BP?
I'm gonna throw a bone to he's getting all the flowers. J.S. Hawthorne, like the whole presentation, the masks, the robes, everything makes it works. Everything
I don't hate that at all.
Work.
And he shows up to shows.
He was
amazing.
My number one for men. Yeah. That was gonna be my.
Oh, he was styling.
Why.
He was styling. It's so funny. I was looking for my one of the support poles I used to set up the PPW interview backdrop, and it was being used as a coat rack by J.S. Hawthorne. I couldn't find it for the life of me.
Love
that.
Then he wound up using Precious as a coat rack.
Yeah. My number two will be Dio Bando, baby. Shows just in the same vein as J.S. Hawthorne. Shows up to the show looking like $1 million. Like he just shows up looking sharp, dapper, and then he comes to the ring and he's wearing Witchcraft by Lilly crocheted jacket. The guy's just a stud. That's my number two for fashion.
So my one was Journey / Hawthorne. My two is Dio / Shay McCoy. Shay McCoy looks cool all the freaking time, all day, every day, day, night, anytime.
Not just wrestling, in personal life, always.
Amazing.
Great fashion videos. Love watching her dress up, getting ready for the day, showing the fit.
Everything that they wear, like they can go from like very punk rock, like we're gonna be in the middle of a festival, to like Taylor Swift, to like just everything in between. There is no one specific style. They just do it all, and they look amazing no matter what they're wearing.
Yep, agreed. BP number two.
Number two, I'm gonna go with Journey Burke. Journey Burke is really like the whole presentation has gone to another level this year with Journey.
Yeah, and my number three is when it comes to gear and always reinventing themselves and getting new things and getting really, really nice gear. There ain't nobody better than Andy Header.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy's gear is unbelievable. Especially if you're a comic book nerd, you look at him like, oh, he mixed those two together. That's cool. Andy Header always coming in clutch.
Got the villain gear now. He's got the villain gear now.
And now we just got to make him a villain.
And my number three is the world famous cheeseburger.
Great gear.
Their gear looks awesome all the time. Also, if you're interested in that gear and like who makes it, check out Crusher. The Crusher.
Who's the gear maker we met Mania weekend?
Sway Archer.
Great gear maker.
Amazing gear.
Wow. Makes gear for AEW people, makes gear for WWE people, makes gear for independent people. Look them up. They're really good. Entrance. Number one.
And
3,
why is it
2,
Hawthorne?
1, J.S.
Hawthorne. Yep.
Yeah. Number two for me is Billy Avery. Great entrance.
It's Nolan Pierce.
Nolan Pierce, great entrance.
Hawthorne at the Sanctuary specifically is an experience.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Number three.
My three, I have Dio Bando.
I have Fresh Air.
Good. That's a good pick. Clap them cheeks.
Them cheeks. Yeah, they came out to House of Pain's Jump Around.
I also could say Dio could be number three, shared with Facade. Facade's Go Ninja Go. Always a great entrance. And Danny Mo.
And the spray paint, the whole presentation.
Oh, wait a moment. Earlier this year, when Facade and Danny Moe did the Fantasy, they did the cover of like Fantasy. It was like that Ludacris song.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool entrance they did.
Yeah. All right. And the very last category, and we'll get out of here. Try to keep it under 2 hours. Sorry, everybody, but not sorry. Ring announcers for the year. I'll start off. Number 1, Samira. Samira not only is working the Northeast scene, but just going all the way down to Florida, going to Black Label Pro, just really getting her name out there, working her ass off. Very, very proud of her. Been there since day one. I watched her day backstage interviewing. Samira is just very proud. Very good.
I'll co-sign that. I got to work with Samira a little bit this year, a little closer than normal with AXW. The announcer usually sits right by the commentary table, and just the work ethic for her is off the charts.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree.
Number 2.
I gotta throw Paul Bowe a bone here. It's Paul Bowe.
He's been giving it to Fast Freddy a lot, which it should be, but Paul is wearing too many hats.
Yeah, Paul and I are usually too busy doing like I had to move off of the backstage interviews this year because I'm the GM now. I can't be the boss and do the backstage interviews. Paul has to be at the Paul's front of house on back of house, especially if we don't have people there. So Paul he does it as best he can, but yeah, he's when he's on. There's no if I'm having a main event, I want Paul Bowe doing a ring announcing.
There's 2 people that like the reason I don't make my list is because I just feel like they're already number 1. Paul Bell's number 1, and he's tied with Carolina Jim.
Oh yeah, the legendary
legend.
It is the Carolina Jim Memorial best ring announcer.
We should start doing that. We shouldn't go starting next year. We will. We won't be ring announcer of the year. It'll be the Carolina Jim Award.
Yeah, if you ever did it for camera, it's the Smart Mark Gary Award.
The Smart Mark Gary Award. Yeah, we could just do best non-wrestler. It could be the Smart Mark Gary Award.
Yeah, that would have to be the Dr. Frank Award.
And my number 2 would be George Palomidis.
George Palomidis is my number 2 as well.
Number 3 for me. Yep.
Who's your number 2?
Paul Bowe.
Who's your number 1? Samira. You're right. I'm an idiot. My number 3 made her debut this year. Did really cool stuff. Tried to reinvent the wheel a little bit and taking the ring announcer back to almost that old school NWA interviewer / ring announcer. I'm gonna go with Lilly over here. Did good stuff on ring announcing. I'm very proud of her.
Appreciate you throwing me the bone.
No, I thought you did a good job with doing the interviews and stuff. I
mean, technically, do I count as a ring announcer?
Yeah, you announced them.
I only announced like one match in a ring.
You don't have to be in the ring to do ring announcing.
I've ring announced like 4 matches this year, and I did none of them in the ring.
Yeah,
you did. You ring announced this year. Oh snap! My number 3 is ABJ.
Hate that.
You did. You got off commentary to jump into the ring, and actually, you did ring announcing at multiple places and commentary. Where there were places where you were doing commentary, and then you would just stand up on the chair and do the ring announcing. And there's another one where you were doing you were doing commentary. You'd get off of commentary, jump in, do the ring announcing, jump back out, go back to commentary.
Not a fan of that. That's a long.
That's
a hard day.
I was so determined at the last PPW show to get that show up back from intermission on time. I thought for like 10 seconds, I was like, I'm gonna have to hit their music, ring announce them, and then go jump on commentary to get the show back on time.
Yeah. Did we get all 3 of our picks in?
That's it.
Yes.
That'll do it for our TT Awards this year. Thank you, everyone who stuck around for 2 hours on the dot. We're going to get this done with less than a minute so we can hit that mark. Guys, thank you so much. Have a safe and wonderful holiday. You can catch us tonight at midnight when the second episode drops, part 2 for our TT Awards, which will cover most of TV wrestling, AEW, WWE,
so on and so forth.
So on and so forth. So tune in tonight at midnight, or listen to us on your car ride to your family or your in-laws, and listen to more wrestling from us. We love you so much.
And listen to us arguing back and forth about the Eagles Commanders game, because we're doing this on Sunday.
Yeah. So you're gonna love that. Thank you guys so much. We love you to death. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your holidays. Anything anyone wants to plug before we get out of here?
Go Birds.
Nothing.
I hate you. Goodbye.